Asazas says, Asa versus Lynx, the typical good luck type of filings. We are starting. We have a 5,000 rupee reward for Link, and their uncle basically says to the player, "You're boned."
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if anyone has a wallet big enough to hold 5,000 rupees, but it's quite an amount. We'll be able to get to Zora 10 times.
Well, we do have a capacity for about 9,999 ourselves. I think we just have one of those special wallets that is able to accommodate that. It is a lot of money, needless to say. You wouldn't farm for that much just to report someone.
Yeah, we saw a quick little map check. So we already know that there are 3 crystals in the light world. So it means 3.
They got a sword from the uncle. Well, actually, we didn't note that. It is an uncle-assured sword seed. I completely forgot that. Ignore my exclamation.
It was a casual seed.
Hard mode with swords. Who made this? No, I'm kidding.
And already $300, so well on our way to get to the bottle vendor, buy some bombs, maybe as well, and or get our Zora item, which is probably going to be a big 20.
So as they make their way into Hyrule Castle, you pretty much have to do this in order to do anything else in the game. Everything's locked off, Kakariko, Eastern Palace, and such, until you get the princess out of the castle. This is the difference between standard and open modes. This is standard mode. Open mode, you don't have to do this until later if you want to. It may not even be possible to get to the back of the escape in some cases until you get certain items anywhere else later on. So that's the major difference between these two modes.
Yeah, you see a lot of standard at this point in the tournament. You see a lot of the higher siege runners pick standard all dungeons in order to make their execution advantage have the edge over their opponent.
That's correct. We have been seeing a lot of all dungeons. In fact, many of the seeds I've caught, I think this is actually the first defeat Ganon seed I've been able to call, first or second, as most of the seeds I've seen have been all dungeons. And as you said, it's an execution advantage. So that is why it's a favorite in this tournament.
And I'm pretty sure that as the tournament progresses and we see more random modes or see the second seed choose their mode, that we'll see more varied options, more defeat Ganon, more Randomizer, just to shake it up and equalize the skill level in a way.
It's also fun to see the retro mode and inverted mode seeds too, because they bring in both cases, they bring a whole new way to play the game, just like Key Sandy when it was introduced. So for the casual player, there are lots of ways to try this game and see how they like to play it the best.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's the great part.
So going through Hyrule Castle, the players do pick up their charges, and they don't have any special items that I have seen so far in any of the chests, anything that we really want to call out. Just money and other blueberries and other goodies. And they are making their way back to Hyrule Castle proper at this time.
Yeah, it's a good thing that both of them already have bombs. That means they don't have to farm in the sewers in order to try to get a drop.
Exactly. The bombs are good, and that was a chest time, actually. That's a very good point. There were 3 bombs in one of the chests, so they don't have to farm 4 bombs. That is something that will ease these runners' minds, because they can check that back of escape now and get a couple bomb holes in Kakariko.
Yeah, so far, it's been, of course, it's been relatively close. Asazas does have the extra map check, so even though it seems he's a few seconds behind, he's probably just pretty equal with Lanxion at this point.
And looking at our tracker, it looks like all 3 dungeons in the light world are crystals, so the pendants are all hiding in the dark world today.
Yeah, so that might mean that we need a lot fewer items for go mode, but that's probably an hour away.
In hard mode, it could even be longer. We don't know what we're gonna run into in terms of progression here yet, but we will see what happens as the seed goes on.
Nice Robo RNG from Lanxion.
And we get to the final with the one chest in the dark area here, and inside is $5. And if anyone's, second blue rupee. And if anyone sees the icons at the top, I see a mention in chat about the icons. Looks like there's a gap on the right next to where his Asa's name is. If this were a key sanity seed, you would see a boss key hiding there, the big key. But because that key is not there, that means that it is a regular keys are in their dungeon seeds. So the keys won't be mixed up today.
Yeah, there has been no special mode, no Randomizer, no key sanity, no retro, just a nice standard seed. Huh.
Yep, exactly. And in the back of Escape, we have 20 bucks, some wooden sticks, and a lovely map, which we don't really need. Now the arrows, I want to note something about the arrows. The arrow capacity upgrades have been removed from the game, so or at least from the item pool, not from the game, but from the item pool. So you will see a lot more arrow and bomb pickups in the chest as the game goes on.
Yeah, there are still a couple available in the cave where Ice Palace is in the Dark World. So you can still get them, and it will automatically refill into max as well, but it's not as lucrative as it might be when you can just find them in the wild.
This has got to be one of the worst Hyrule Castle startings I've ever seen. We've had nothing useful at all in any of the chests in Hyrule Castle. Just a total of about 370 rupees, which is not quite enough for Zora, but at least that will give us that item later, which is probably, you know, a single rupee.
Knowing Zora, yeah. What
Yep.
a cheapskate.
Looks like we're getting a look at the Lumberjack ledge at this time, and for some reason Lanxion picks up a sign and throws it at the squid. Asazas has already made his way into the Lost Woods, diverging a little bit, and he is going to see what is in the hole here as Lanxion heads to the Lumberjack. And as Asazas falls, he finds it looks like the ice rod. That was a blue rod I saw. Did you catch the Lumberjack item?
Yeah, that was a book.
That was a book. Oh, so this is an Uncle required seed. Or Aghanim, I mean. Aghanim required?
Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yeah, so that'll play on his mind a little bit.
I think that was a single rupee in the North and Lost Woods. I don't think that's going to be on either runner's mind today.
Yeah, that seems less enticing. Oh, book is terrible. You just never know if you need it or not.
And that's going to play with the runner's minds in this entire game. If this was to defeat all dungeon seed, you can see the runners going to Aghanim at some point just to pick out that book and get it out of the way. But because this is a regular Gan seed, we have no idea whether that's a waste of time or whether it's worth the 5-minute investment to get something off of, let's say, the Bombos tablet later on.
Yeah, exactly. And in a way, the Assassin's ignorance at this point, because he doesn't know, it might as well just be bliss. Because Lanxion now has to.
We have a power glove at the back of Lion's Hut. Sorry to interrupt you. We have a power glove at the back of Lion's Hut. I wanted to point that out there.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, I didn't call out the other items either. We had a 20 rupees here. We have a couple bottles in here. And another 20 rupees. So the front of the Lion's Hut was not very good, but if you had the bomb... Oh, red goo is not as good now either as it used to be. Yeah, that glove is pretty much the only thing worthwhile in that hut, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, we might have to see what's on Stick It, obviously, but wow, 3 bottles.
More goo! We got 3 bottles already. Moon Pearl.
And that's good.
And he goes to the bottle vendor and he picks up some more bombs. Those will be semi-useful in this seed. We do have at least a couple more bomb holes right now that we need. So here's one of them right here, the chicken hut. Are we going to get a chicken clip from Asazas? No, we're not. As Lanxion gets his moon pearl, Asazas goes next door in the chicken hut and gets 50 bucks.
It's all money and bottles at this point.
Yeah, this is definitely not a poverty seed to say the least at this point. As we now go to the back, actually no, he's going to Sick Kid because he has 3 bottles to show the Sick Kid. He's still only going to get 1 item. That item is the lantern. Well, the runners are usually good. Runners in this tournament are mostly pretty good with the dark rooms already. You're not going to see many runners need the lantern, but nonetheless, it is a nice to have. It does make things just a little bit faster, being able to see where you're going.
Yeah, and it's just a light source to have, just in case that we don't fight the fire rod for a while. We can still finish desert and get to Hera basement, all that jazz. you're never unhappy to find it.
Exactly. Getting a look at the library right now, seeing in the library, that was quick, but I think it was a heart piece.
Yeah, it was a piece of heart. It's a bit more valuable than in a normal difficulty seed, but I don't see them picking that up at a later stage.
Bombs at the race game. He says no thanks, and goes to, looks like back to his house. Looks like he's gonna go south at this point and check out the area near the house, and possibly Ice Rod Cave as well.
Yeah, it looks like just the standard like World Clear, Kakariko into South Shore, and then we'll see if we go to Saha's Flower if something else opens up. We can't technically check the first small bit of Death Mountain with the Power Gloves and Lamp. It is in logic, but not super exciting yet.
And we enter the Light World version of the Swamp Palace, which is basically just a 2-room area. We get $5 out for 5 rupees out of the first chest, as Lanxion says no thanks to the bombs at race game. Asazas is going to go in and unlock the moat. We're going to get another item from the water here.
Lanxion had a small missed saving quit, I think. He went to Sank when he wanted to go to Link's house.
Oops. Oh, okay. Look in the water. We have a very important announcement to make, everyone. We would like you to freeze because it's time to pound things.
Can't touch this.
We're not singing that.
Okay, good thing. Good thing. I can't sing, so it does mean that we have our Dark World access, though, so that is good. This might mean that we see a little bit of variation in our routing, a little bit.
And Lanxion is going to pick up his hammer as well. He's just following in Asaz's footsteps a few steps behind at this point. As we get to Mini Boulder Cave, to the back, we have 20 rupees. We have 5 rupees. We have a shovel. That's something we can check pretty quickly. Titan's Mitt, and some sticks.
Now we have a lot of Dark World access.
I think that opens up the entire Dark World at this point. I don't think there's any, except for the Dark Death Mountain area, because you need the hook shot for some of that. But otherwise, I think the entire Dark World is open at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. We can go wherever we want. Saz is not tempted to go into the Dark World just yet. Does go into Ice Rod Cave. That kind of makes sense. Just doesn't want to skip anything and maybe lose out on...
It's a very out-of-the-way location. He's already here, and he wants to get this before he does any fake flippering, assuming he chooses to do the potential sequence break there. So we will see what's in Ice Rod Cave very shortly. Lanxion gets his Titan's Mitt. And Asazas walks through this very chilly corridor with a hole on each side. Very, very designer-friendly place. And he finds at the back just $5.
I feel like we've heard $5 a lot by now. ₹5 is the new big 20.
Pretty much. This is the hard mode, so you're going to find the money pools are, I believe, also shuffled a little bit. I think the 300 rupees, there's only like one of those at most. There's still a couple 100 or something along those lines. I don't remember, don't be exactly out for those, but I know there's less money in the chest as well. Getting a look at the island here, it looks like.
Oh, hello there.
Well, that is an interesting item on the island. Today's island is brought to you by the letter B.
Oh, Lanxion is not finding it right now. He's saving quits and goes straight to the Dark World, probably.
That's some very important information to have, the bow on the island. Only Asazas knows that at this time. So Lanxion is not going to be aware of that. He could be looking everywhere for that instead of doing that check for it. Blue mail for Asazas. That is the only mail upgrade he will find. There is another one later, but so if Lanxion finds that one, at least then we'll know that the Asazas mail upgrade will only give Lanxion money at that point. So we may see another one later on.
Yeah, so we've had some interesting divergence already from the start. Asazas knows about the bone, Lake Hadia Island. Lanxion knows about the book and Lumberjack. We'll have to see.
Oh, Lanxion didn't check Lumberjack either. Okay.
No, Lanxion did check Lumberjack.
Oh,
Asazas didn't check it.
Taking a look at the map right now, I see the 5-6 crystals down in Misery Mire and Ice Palace. I see pendants in Palace of Darkness, Turtle Rock, and the green pendant was up in Swamp Palace to help our tracker a little bit, marking that out. So there's your layout. Oh, Skullwoods. Did I say that wrong? I said Swamp Palace. You're right. It is Skullwoods.
So yeah, of course, now that we found an early ice road, Third Rock is a pendant. So that's great times for everyone.
Asazas releases the bee from a bottle and fills it with some red goo from the fairy. And Lanxion is in the C-shaped house in the Dark World, a village outcast. We're getting more money, which we probably, let's just see what we are for rupees right now. 819 rupees. That will cover Zora. That will cover Kiki the monkey. It will get us into the digging game. We don't need to play race games, so we're not going to get that. Don't think there's a lot of other things that require money in the game. I think we have most of it covered already.
Yeah, I mean, you need 10 rupees for the blacksmith, and I think you covered all the rest.
Yep.
So, good stuff.
First chest in Thieves' Town was another red rupee. So just in case that wasn't enough money, we're getting more.
Yeah, I can see us being in the 4 digits in about half an hour. All right, so we're going to see a hype cave from asazas, I assume.
Well, let's see which way he goes. It's very possible that you're correct that we will see that hype cave, but we do not know yet. We will find out. Chest number or crystal number 7 is Thieves' Town. Now, I believe in the vanilla game, Zelda is the 7th maiden. So I wonder if we're gonna. I'm not actually familiar with Crystal 7, whether that actually puts Zelda in there or whether it's a regular maiden.
Oh, I never actually paid attention to that. We'll have to see.
We'll see. We are getting a hype cave check. There's a piece of heart from the guy in the front, and the rest of it is a blue rupee, bombs, another heart piece, and another heart piece. Arior, I can probably guess already what it will be, but rate this hype cave.
It's at least a 4 out of 10 because we got our 4th heart container because of this. I think that's very important. We increased our heart capacity by 33%. Isn't that hype? Just tell me that's hype.
I was not thinking of that angle, but because of his current low life, yeah, I'll go with that. That works for me. We are getting a look at the pyramid as well, as Zaz is able to go through the peg blocks. He wants to make sure there's nothing, basically nothing stored in this out-of-the-way location that he would have to come back for later. So we are going to get our look at that right now. Lanxion went upstairs, and I didn't see him what the hint said. Did you catch the hint?
Yeah, some cash is above the post, so that's more money. But it does mean that we won't be going to Graveyard Ledge. That's good. That's a good hint.
It looks like Assassins did not want whatever was on the pyramid because he didn't go back for it.
Yeah, another big 20. Assassins has had some pretty conservative routing so far, going all the way to Catfish.
Yeah, he's getting all these out-of-the-way locations out of the way early, just in case there's something there. And the reason for that, I believe, is just so that if there is something there and Lanxion doesn't get to check these until later, Assassins could just carry on with whatever he's doing and not have to worry about getting to these locations.
Yeah.
It's not very often you have everything to get up here early either, so you might as well just get it all done. It suggests there's something in these locations. And being Catfish, you know it's going to have something important. I'll say the hook shot.
That would be pretty small. How about
the scene's been pretty kind so far. So the fish arises from his circular house and coughs up just a heart. But you know what? We need some hearts, so nothing to complain about.
That's nuts. I mean, he almost has twice as much health as Lanxion. That's insane. Hard mode really puts a different emphasis on how important life is at some point.
Here's our answer on the maiden. It is just basic maiden in when this is 7 crystals, so now we know that. As Lanxion starts taking our disguise blind over to the hammer chest, we're going to see what's in there.
That's pretty good.
Ooh, that is pretty good. That isn't.
Yeah, so I'm not finding the super exciting items yet. And he has, I mean, I don't want to say wasted, because there's a chance that Lanxion will check those locations as well, but yeah, he has spent some time on those pyramid and catfish checks.
And we get into our first boss fight of the game. Lanxion gets the blind pun that flint and steel are a good match. Thank you very much, Blind. And very quick on the first head kill on the blind fight. So charging his swords and getting this. Oh, he's doing this fight very, very well. This is going to be a very fast blind fight. Definitely according to script, if you believe in the script. Yep, that fight's already done. Didn't even get to go to the bottom. Wow. The item is just another 20 rupee collectible, and he gets his first crystal of the game.
Yeah, that was all according to plan. Very nice. I mean, 3 Heart Thieves down is no joke.
That was a very nice blind fight. So we are going to see where he goes from there as asazas checks the chess game and gets some bombs out of it. Lanxion gets from another chest 5 rupees, and asazas is heading into the brewery to get the same 5 rupees.
What a surprise.
So almost sync here. But now asazas is going to head up to Thieves' Town. Oh, he's going right past it. Looks like there's something else he wants to check first. This house.
Yeah, you often see people check all the 3 surrounding locations, just in case there is the boots or something else that is relevant.
Of course. We are getting our check of Peg Cave already too. Getting all these really nice items early means that we have almost the entire world opened up. Anything could be anywhere at this point. So there's just some bombs down there, so not worth the bashing pegs when you almost have a full bomb inventory. Asazas is going to get his meaningless items out of Thieves' Town, except for that crystal, which will eventually be off the blind.
And probably gonna see Ding Game, and then taking the frog for a small loop.
Correct. He can't pick up the frog and then do Digging Game because he won't be allowed to start Digging Game with that frog in tow. So good play to do Digging Game, get out of the way before grabbing Jeremiah, as we call him, and taking him for a tour. Now, I'll note about the Digging Game, it's normally 1 to 30 digs. The vanilla game is 15. We're about 10 digs in right now. 30 digs takes about 26, 27 seconds by my math if you hit all the digs correctly. I think we're at about 20 digs now. 21, 22, 23 if I counted that right, and he says no to the bombs.
Yeah, he's had enough of those bombs by now. So far all the Dark World overworld has not been that lucrative from what we've seen between Lanxion and asazas. Pretty disappointing.
So for anyone who's arrived late, we do have a question chat as to the mode, so I will clarify the mode again. The icons at the top between the names clarify what the mode is. As Lanxion picks up an item from Stumpy, I didn't catch that. But the mode is shown as being Ganon. Defeat Ganon is the goal. You have to pick up the princess, so it's standard mode. Uncle has a sword, and it's hard difficulty. And the absence of the big key means that we're not playing Key Sanity.
Lanxion's having some trouble with the menus. This menu is not pretty.
Lanxion now goes to get his health cave.
Yeah, gets his 33% increase on his health.
Something I just realized as well, he still had 3 hearts doing that blind fight. So that's the type of thing you see in inverted mode more than here. But we just had a 3-heart blind fight, and Lanxion did it perfectly. So that tells you he's probably pretty good at this game.
Yeah, he's pretty solid. He's pretty solid. I believe he might be somewhere in the top 30 in the NMG leaderboards. He knows what he's doing.
Definitely.
Interestingly enough, I just noticed that Lanxion did in fact not pick up the frog. So he's just doing the same loop that asazas did earlier.
Now, I find very curious that he didn't get Jeremiah and bring him on this tour to eventually drop off back home in Kakariko.
Has to be a little bit more careful than asazas as well, because asazas does have the blue mill, which Lanxion does not. So that makes these 3 and 4 hard adventures a lot more perilous.
Asazas now gets his compass from the chest next to the maiden, which we didn't point out before. Dungeon items, of course, not being key sandy, all the dungeon items are in their dungeons as well, so they are not reflected in the item count, as they are simply dungeon items.
Yeah, still makes Thieves' Town a very nice early play. 4 items, short dungeon, not super dangerous. So it's no wonder that both our players dipped in there really early. So from what we've seen, we don't have a whole lot left to do that's really open. So where do you expect that our progression is at this point?
I'm starting to think the Aghanim might be needed to get the book just to get a Desert Palace. That's the concern I have right now. They can fake Flipper into Ice Palace because they have access to Bombos, but then it would be a sequence break, so we still have to find somewhere where it connects back later on to get the Flippers. Those Flippers could be tied up somewhere behind the Aghanim play. So it might be necessary to do Aghanim, get the book, and get something either from the tablet or get in the desert and find the progression there. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Right. That does mean that we need to find the boots first, because we need the boots in order to get through the lumberjack tree.
This is true. If we see boots said, actually, we need the Master Sword or the Cape as well. So one of those would have to show up. But Eastern Palace is open. We have some items there, and 4 items, which I think the Thieves' Town was the green pen, if I'm not mistaken. That's another item here. So 4 items here from Sahasrara's hut.
Skullwoods was the green pen.
Oh, my mistake. Okay.
Wow.
And the old man's 401k is taken from him. So oh well.
Yeah, this has all been very, very meh. We're actually gonna see the Eastern dip. That is interesting.
Well, at this point, it's really the only dungeon they have open to them. And as you noted earlier, they do need the boots, which would be needed to get the book if we do have to go to Aghanim. So I would not be surprised to see some kind of progression of Eastern Palace at this point, because I think almost everything else has been checked. They can't... Actually, I guess they could go do part of Death Mountain, but there's only 1 or 2 items there they can actually get. So it's not really worth the play yet until they can get a mirror or the hook shot.
Yeah, I would argue that it is worth it to already get the save points and just check what is in Spectacle Rock. You can get the extra hand as well. So it's like 2.5 items. I think there is a certain value in it, but I do understand putting it off for a little while.
Yeah, unlocking the save point, you do raise a good issue on the save point. That is something that gives a quick warp back there whenever you want to go there later on. So I definitely do see the value in checking that.
And then otherwise, yeah, there is the front of Skull Woods and there is Spot.
Correct.
But otherwise, we've seen everything aside from Agina, I believe.
And Agina is probably one of the most out of the way items. There's nothing really that ties to it. It's not on a tour. You just go there. So we'll see if we get there at some point.
There's the blacksmith and purple chest as well. But that takes really long, considering you have to save and quit, and you have no easy access to Kakariko at this point without the flute or boots.
Correct. And there's the big key, so we are going to get to see what's in the big chest as we go along here. Another hint in this room, some cash requires the hammer. Thank you, game. We did have lots of cash. We'd love more.
Oh, well, that's interesting.
That is interesting. Now the witch is in the progression, possibly.
Yeah. No cane yet, so I don't expect to see fake powder. Okay, Asazas now knows about the book as well.
Yep,
so
we're now even on the book knowledge. So now Asazas is going to start worrying about that.
Yeah. Still no actual access to Aga and no boots yet, so won't have to actively start making decisions yet.
I find interesting we still haven't found a lot inside Eastern Palace to talk about either. I'm trying to think besides Death Mountain, the old man item, Spectacle Rock, inside. We can't get what's on top of Spectacle Rock yet. Makes me wonder what is left. As we now get the bombs, we can't finish Eastern Palace. See you later. We're out of here. That was a pretty bland Eastern Palace and Sahasrara's dip.
Yeah, we only found the mushroom and some money and some bombs. Typical. Oh, see,
that was worth the trip. Also, they do have the Lanxion, so that is definitely within sequence. That fire rod is part of the sequence at this point. So, very interesting.
Yeah, that opens Skullwoods. So that's 3 items if you include the green pendant.
Correct. They can also get to the back of Skullwoods now and fight the bug.
Yeah, exactly.
We are going to get another hint up here inside Spectacle Rock from asazas, who is ahead Lanxion on this trip. Just a heart piece in front of it. Of course, we're going to pick that up to check out the hint. And the hint says, a unique item is in the dark.
So
let's
that means
see.
that there's something in pod.
Yeah. And there are 4 chests in those 2 dark rooms, so at least one of those most likely has a unique item in it.
All right, that's pretty interesting. We can get there. I mean, it all depends on whether pod is bow locked, I guess.
And the other interesting thing is that the unique item could be anything from, well, we know it's not the bow because we've seen the bow on Spectacle Island, or on Hylia Island, I should say, which Lanxion has not seen yet. But it could be anything from silver arrows to a boomerang.
Yeah, to bug nets, to the single arrow, to...
Yeah, the single arrow.
It could be a bait, but at least you know.
Correct.
Decisions. Where do we start? Okay, probably going to see our shovel, check from Lanxion. Not sure when he's going to turn into the mushroom.
Yeah, the mushroom still needs to be turned in once, and they both do have that. I thought I saw asazas pick up that mushroom. Did he not?
No, he never went into Eastern yet.
Oh, my mistake. My mistake.
They've both checked some very different stuff at this point.
It's always fun to see the routes converge later on as well and see how close the race really is when they get to the same point. Especially when it's Ganon's Tower. And Asaz falls in the hole on the first try to sneak around the pits. He does get the key out of that chest, however. And nothing of value so far in Skullwoods, but there are a few keys in this front area usually, so that is normal. We will see if there's anything later on in Skullwoods. Up. Lanxion is walking past the windmill and doing something on Kakariko. Looks like he's actually making his way over to the Dark World to do Skullwoods himself.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's almost like the seed is shouting to go to Skullwoods, since that's the only real thing that opens up with the fire rod at this point.
Exactly. It seems very linear so far, and now even though it opened up very quickly, it almost seems like it's linear because they're not really getting anything else since getting the open dark. I take that back. Clearly, it's time for some cane usage. As someone would say, it's got to be cane located in the chest in Skullwoods.
Yeah, so neither of the 2 items in Skullwoods were actually locked by the fire rod. So, are you going to kill Mafia now with your limited resources?
It looks like he is saying, no thank you, I'll come back later.
Yeah, it might be influenced by the pod hint, that he might be more inclined to finish that first. Or dip that first, rather.
We might be getting our check of Bumper Ledge here, by the way, as he makes his way up to that area. And we do find out silver arrows are on Bumper Ledge. Now, that's not a big deal right now, because in hard mode, the silver arrows do not work, I believe, on anything except Ganon. So we may... The question is, will the runners pick it up before fighting the pig?
Depends on when they find it. If they have boots, it might be worth it. If they only have Master Sword, it's definitely worth it.
It may also depend on whether they have the cape by the time they come back later. If they do, they may just stop and pick it up. If they don't, and they have to complete Skullwoods before, he doesn't have the big key, so he just found that out. So if they don't have the cape by the time they have to do Mothula later on, they probably will not come back for it.
Yeah. And it's not even sure if you have to go back to Mothula. Lucky fairy drop there on Lanx's part. So now we see asazas also dipping eastern, so he'll find his mushroom. We'll see if he decides to turn it right away as well. Otherwise, it seems like we're going to be forced into Pod at some point.
Yeah, it looks like Pod is going to be the play here, especially knowing one unique item is in the dark and they have the lamp to check that. So it seems like the progression is heading that way, except for the cane, obviously, inside Skullwoods, which Lanxion is about to pick up right about now in about 5 seconds or so. With that possible exception, the progression does seem to be in Pod at this time.
Yeah. We also see Lanxion 7 quitting out of Skullwoods. Doesn't want to fight Mothula with 5 hearts and Fighter Sword. It is not a pretty fight, so it can't be too much.
He also doesn't get the Chenka bumper ledge. I don't think he saw that silver arrows are on that ledge.
Yeah, probably no real incentive to check it yet, as long as he doesn't have to keep.
Correct.
Maybe once he finds Boots and Mirror or something, it's a more worthwhile check for him. It is quite a walk to get to that point, so just try to save some time. And Lanxion does decide to move over to the pod area.
This will be our first look at the pod area once he does get inside, so we will see what is there when we get there. Asazas is working his way through Eastern Palace. He has to open the first couple chests and is going to head back through the big chest room on the upper ledge to work his way around. And that's where the mushroom is, in that big chest that you see right there.
A very possible point is that Lanxion at this point is holding onto his mushroom. Now that he found the cane, he is able to fake powder if he wants to.
And while that would be a sequence break at this point, it can be a very useful trick to get the item off the magic bat if you are willing to spend all your magic to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And hey, look, it's everyone's favorite contortionist, Kiki the Monkey, as Lanxion guides him to the entrance to Palace of Darkness and pays him $100 to push the switch at the top that he cannot reach and walk inside.
So the first question is Pod bow locked or not? We do have some potions in order to glitch your way through to the main area.
I'd say at this point it can't be bow locked. There's not a lot of things left to look at that big key.
Well then.
The real business already in the front today, my goodness.
Well, bottle glitch it is.
Asazas does the Death Warp inside Eastern Palace to get back to the front quickly and come out in that area. And I have a feeling he might be making the pod play himself at this point, based on his routing to get out of here.
The fact that Pod is bow locked is really interesting, considering we still need flippers and mirror to actually get the bow.
I'm wondering if this means that since we've already seen Death Mountain, I think it was Lanxion who went to Death Mountain because he has the Fire Rod. Actually, they both have the Fire Rod, so they both did check that. Since Death Mountain was already seen, I'm wondering if this means that are they able? I don't think they're able to get to the Hilly Island yet to get the bow yet, are they?
No, As I said, they still need the flippers and the mirror, so they still need 2 pieces of progression.
I think
issues with them.
I think the witch's hat is required today.
Yeah, either that or the green pendant.
Yeah, we still don't have that. You are correct.
And a Gina, and I'm probably missing some other location, but it's not a lot. Let's just keep it at that. It's not a lot.
It is a very small list, yes. So this is technically a sequence break that Lanxion is on right now. The question is, will asazas try this as well? It took him a little while to get the red guy off the screen there. It's just a bottle of goose, so not much of a sequence break at this point.
And that's a 4th bottle.
Yep, that's all 4 bottles
not
today.
To do it. So more divergence at this point. Asazas wants to stay on logic.
In a hard mode seed, I don't blame him. Boing.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, he is using the keys to get up to the dark. He really wants that unique item in the dark. That's why he did the glitch to get to these unique items. Whatever unique item is hiding in the dark up here. He does not try for the hammer yump. Looks like he wants to get in this area first and may try the hammer yump later. And that is not a unique item, so the next chest over here also does not have a unique item. We have 2 keys in the basement. We are getting the Agina check on Asaz's side. He is going through the entrance to that right now. As Lanxion gets to the chest in the save. Oh, no, the flute is over there. So again, because we do not have the bow, this is technically a sequence break. At some point, we have to get to the bow to close that sequence break. But Lanxion does at least have the ability to travel around Hyrule very quickly. He does consider using the key, changes his mind. I think he's going to work his way back around. No, he's doing something really weird right now. Is he going to get down there, or is the path going to be gone? Nope, he gets out. He is going to try to hammer you.
I think he realizes that he needs a key. I think he forgot that he already has the big key.
Oh, I thought he was going to hammer you up. I'm actually really puzzled by this. Oh, he wants to check the other chests down here first.
Yeah, but these are all keys. There's 3 chests here, and they are all small keys. So this is confusing.
Hey, you need a key to get upstairs to get to this chest. To get another key. So he's basically back where he started. Maybe he just doesn't want to get all the keys out of the way, knowing the item layout in the palace by now.
Yeah, this will all work out in the end. It just takes a little bit longer than probably wants it to. Yeah. In the meantime, we found Mirror in Agina's cave, by the way. Asazas found that, so he's on his way in Hera at this point.
Yeah, that mirror is a very useful find in Agina's cave. As you said, he's now doing Tower Hera, which is now completely open.
It also means that Lanxion might have an easier time to get to Agina now that he has the flute. So he might find it relatively quickly.
He may. He'll also be the first to find out what Medina's need from Misery Mire if he decides to check that in the Mire Shed.
Yeah, but he might also be led astray by whatever he finds in the Dark Maze.
Oh, that was a very nice hammer yump and bomb blowing in the hole at the same time there. That was a very nice combination there from Lanxion.
Yeah,
a map.
Solid.
I didn't catch all that hint, but I saw something about a map and something else.
Oh, I didn't catch that. Let's see. A map and a compass. So we're not going to enter that side of swamp.
Yeah, we don't need that area of Swamp Palace explored today.
So the unique item in the dark was Quake. You would almost say that the flute that we found was more important.
the same time, the fact that we have that flute and that Quake medallion rather, I wonder if that could mean Quake is at Misery Mire and we needed to get both items to get there. That could be very interesting. We are getting a serenade of music from Lanxion. I think he's going to go give us a Swag Duck Anthem. So, ladies and gentlemen, all rise for the National Anthem of Hyrule. Almost.
I did not count the items in Hera, so I don't know if we're going to the basement.
As asazas does get the crystal out of Hera, and the duck is amok.
But we have a whole lot of Death Mountain to check first, so that makes sense. Even if there is an item in the basement.
So to answer a question in chat, and for anyone else who did come late, there are some differences in the game between normal and hard. I will cover just a few of them off top of my head here, as I don't want to detract from the race right now. Lanxion, by the way, let's look first at what is in the cave here, in Mire's Shed, as we call it. Asazas goes through Spiral Cave. We have bombs in the Mire's Shed. We do have the single arrow in the Mire's Shed, and we have a single rupee at the bottom of the Spiral Cave. So some of the differences between hard mode and normal mode, for example, you have a lower mail availability, you have lower shield availability, you have lower sword availability. They are all downgraded by 1 in terms of their maximum output. You can only get the temper sword, for example, you can't get the gold sword. As we get a check on the Witch by Lanxion, we're going to see what that item is in a moment. Other examples are that you have less heart containers available in the world. So you have fewer heart pieces, then you have fewer regular heart containers to go with it. 14 health maximum. So some things like that just make the game harder and more for skilled players in this mode.
Yeah, it definitely punishes mistakes more. It definitely... yeah, it kills you. It can definitely kill you.
Most definitely. What happened to Asazas' stream? We have a freeze, it looks like, on that side. So we are going to follow Lanxion. Hopefully Asazas does come back here. We are going to follow Lanxion up to the unfortunate guy under the bridge, who I believe did not really have much for us, if I'm not mistaken.
Just a change of clothes.
Pretty much. Oh yeah, that was the mail. That is correct. So we're not going to get to see where the second mail upgrade was because, well, both runners got this one, so we're not going to get to find out. Lanxion puts on his new shirt and attempts to swim away. There he goes.
Yeah, now he also has the information about the bow, so that'll help a lot.
Welcome back, Asazas. I'm not sure what was picked up in the meantime, but he is in Sukani Cave. We are finding the Ether. We have all 3 medallions at this time available. They just don't have all 3 on either side, but we have seen all 3 at this as of this point. Did Lanxion get a look at the island where the bow is right now?
Yeah, he checked out.
Excellent.
Also means that there's a very high possibility that we can full clear Turtle Rock at this point. Not that you want to.
Yeah, not that you want to at this point.
It does look like he's going for it.
Yeah, Turtle Rock is one of those dungeons that you're better off doing in Go mode, because even though it is a long trek, you can lop off things like the laser bridge if you have to find all the keys. So it can definitely save you some time not having to go for all the chests. So it looks like it is Ether for Turtle Rock today. We did get a check, and I don't think either of us mentioned earlier Bombos for Misery Mire according to our tracker. And thank you to our tracker today, who is doing a good job getting all the buttons pushed today. That is Tirasu who's doing that today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We just found out that there is a piece of heart in the swamp big chest. So we won't have to be coming back for that if we enter Swamp.
So the first item in Turtle Rock today, in what I believe is normally the map room, if I remember correctly, is just a key.
Yeah, that would be correct. So even for hard mode, I believe that Fighter Sword 7 Hearts Turtle Rock is on the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to survivability and offense.
Yeah,
so
I think you're right. I think even for hard mode, this is really, really hard.
I don't expect asazas to be too excited about doing this. Lanxion finds his mirror. So he can technically enter Desert if he wants to. But he could also just be following asazas on his Death Mountain trip.
Yeah, straight up Death Mountain. As asazas gets the big key, and looks like we're not going to get to see what the other item is in that room yet. As Lanxion proceeds up Death Mountain, and we're probably going to get to see what it is from him very soon.
Yes, we might be. We will probably see what's in Paradox Cave and the likes, the small things that we skipped over due to the internet hiccups.
So I didn't know if we noticed the item on Spectral Rock earlier, just another 20 rupees. They won't be worrying about that. Can't check the Ether Medallion or Ether Tablet rather at this point because we don't have the book. We know that is at Lumberjack, so that is a possible item located there. We may have to get later if we need that book.
Yeah, the value of the book definitely diminished now that we have Desert access. So it would only be for the 2 items on the tablets.
Right.
But there's still a chance.
Let's try to count the items again just to see if basement is necessary here. The hint, some bombs is in the Hype Cave where we're not going to be using Hype. Well, we already did Hype Cave. I guess they already got the bombs. Thanks, game. I think that was 5 rupees, so we do know we have 2 of our items without going to the basement at this time.
Yeah, big key, 5 rupees. And then I assumed that the other item was on the 3rd floor.
I'm trying to remember what that item was, but yes, the other item was somewhere upstairs. I think it was off Molten directly, if I remember correctly.
Then I really have not been paying attention.
We do have a key, obviously, in that chest in front of the hint. There's the hint for Swamp Palace again that you caught earlier. And heading upstairs.
Alright, just doing the big chest the safe way.
Yep, he's getting the big chest. He's doing it safely. Correct. Yep, I did not think it was in the big chest. So he just gets the compass out of there. Waste of a floor drop, but better for peace of mind.
Ooh, that was cutting it close right there. Of course, now Moldong was in rage, but that was a relatively clean fight. And the map on Moldong. So there is an item in the basement. We'll see if Lanxion does decide to go for it.
Yep, there is an item in the basement. So this could be something that Azazas may not have picked up yet at this point. Obviously, he's doing Turtle Rock right now. We just can't see what's in there right now. Let's see if Lanxion does go for that basement item.
Let's go for the safe play. It takes a while to get all the way to the torches, but it might just be worth it. Time for a small coffee or tea break.
Which do you like better, coffee or tea?
Personally, tea, but I can enjoy a good cup of coffee in the morning.
I'm not a fan of either myself. I'm more of a... my caffeine comes from something a lot worse for me than coffee or tea, unfortunately.
All right, okay. You need a stronger brew than that. I can respect that.
Inadvertently pushing the switch there and has to push it again. He does go to the southern room, and the second item in Tower of Hera is just some bombs.
That feels bad.
But hey, at least you're refreshed and you're ready to do the rest of the seed.
You had your break. You know, well, you probably don't know that asazas didn't have his break, but all refreshed. Time to go to Eastern Death Mountain. More good stuff coming up. And we'll see what's in Paradox Cave relatively soon. So the main thing that we're actually still looking for are the flippers and the hook shot. Now the hook shot is probably harder to find at this point. And then we might still need the boots for desert, but that's still up in the air.
And Lanxion's going to pick up his single rupee from down here. Probably feels a little upset about that, knowing that he had to do a very slow walk to get there as well. So not a lot of gain for that long walk. I think he's going to head towards the... Yep, he's heading south to the portal. He's going to the Turtle Rock area right now. I think he's concluded. I didn't catch what the witch item was earlier. Did you see that?
It was 300 rupees.
Oh.
So that wasn't worth it.
Not really. So yeah, I think he has concluded, like Asazas did, that this is pretty much all that we can really do right now. He is going to make the stop to check the 7 chests in Paradox Cave. So he is taking a look in that area right now. I'm not sure if Asazas saw this or not, but we do have a piece of heart. We do have 20 rupees.
Yeah, I think we can assume that Asazas did do this. It made sense.
It does.
Considering the downtime.
This is not a very good Paradox Cave so far.
This is not exciting.
Well, at least they have a little bit extra life, but that's it. They're pretty much even on heart counts, except for anything Assassins might have picked up since we lost them. And there goes that opportunity for a bomb jump as he falls in the pit. So he's going to go out the front door.
He didn't want to do this anyway. He wanted to go back into this portal. Let's
Yeah,
just
he
say
realized that. He realized it as soon as he started to do the bomb jump.
Oh, right. Well, no, this doesn't make sense. Lanxion, you have that mirror. You can just push through the blocks.
Yeah, he could
this is
yeah.
okay. Alright, so he'll be picking up Ether. He knows that he won't need any other medallions.
He'll know he can get into a rock no matter what he has, so he's good to go.
He's probably dreading it already.
Yeah, there's something unsavory about a 7-heart turtle rock, even in hard mode. Question, how hype was Hype Cave this time around? I believe Araro's rating was a 4 because it gave someone his 4th heart. In normal rating progression, however, it was probably, yeah, as someone said in chat, negative 4,000.
Yeah, pretty close to that. Okay, Lanxion decided to not depend on Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I don't blame him for not wanting to go Turtle Rock yet. He's doing Misery Mire, which is probably the safer play at this point.
It's also out of logic.
It is, because of the flute in Palace of Darkness. He is getting a checkerboard cave check.
The amount of blue rupees is driving me nuts.
Yeah, that wasn't worth the price of admission, to say the least.
So, sequence breaking here is interesting, because you know that you needed the bow to get the flute, which means you also needed the flippers to get the flute, and otherwise, and other than that, you can only really find the hook shot. So is it worth actually doing these sequence broken things? Well, we do need the boots as well, so that's some information that might be relevant.
I think he has concluded that the key to tying the sequence breaks together is in Turtle Rock, and as a result, he is assuming that that is where he would need to go. He doesn't want to go there, and he is going to accept the sequence break. My guess is he's just going to do anything out of logic, find the hearts that he needs and any other items he can use, like a better sword, for example, to handle Turtle Rock better, and then he will go back and close that sequence.
Yeah, that makes sense. Could also go into ice right now. See if he feels like that. But it does look like we're going to get the Smith sequence rounded up right now.
I wonder if he's going to go back and do Mothra right now as well. Let's see which way he goes. Nope, looks like you're right. He's going back south to Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, I can link that together with K45 if he feels inclined.
He also has the purple chest available at that point.
Yeah, exactly. So it is a good.
We haven't had any clues. We haven't had any clues regarding a chest requiring a special to unlock yet. That would be the purple chest. So we have no idea what's in there yet.
Yeah, we mostly have. We had the hint about left side swamp, and I think the big chest of swamp. Lots of swamp. One thing for sure, though, this seed really does not make people feel good. It's also so meager.
It opens up the world very quickly as we get the look at the heart piece that the Mire men apparently, or the dwarf men apparently crafted. I didn't know they crafted life. But yeah, the fact that this opened up so quickly, so early, and then all of a sudden said, "No mas!" Just, you wouldn't feel good doing all these open things to find nothing worthwhile and find a really, really linear path from there forward. It almost seems linear at this point.
Yeah, and exactly. The world opened up, and then suddenly the only piece of progression was Nagina's. Like that's just insulting.
Have fun looking for everything. Oh, by the way, there's only one thing here. Speaking of one thing, there's 10 arrows. That's 10 things, but not really anything we need because it looks like he's good for arrows at this point.
Yeah, all those arrows, and you can't even use them yet.
So we are going to make our way to the to Gary, return his lunchbox, and it turns out he had some explosives. So he must be a must do something with those explosives in his line of work. We're not going to get a look at the bottomless topic because again, the book is located up in Lumberjack Cave. We don't even have the boots to get that yet, so that is still way out of our options as well.
Yeah, and Lanxion seems to be doubling down on his "we're not going to do Turtle Rock," and decides to finish Mothula.
Mothra is probably the better play at this point. We know there's not really any items back. I think we've seen all the items already. If you said earlier, so we don't get anything of value back there. He just doesn't want to do Turtle Rock yet. Wants to get Mothblade out of the way first.
And this is very time intensive. I mean, you have to go all the way to Mothblade. You have to kill him with meager equipment. Then you have to mirror and food all the way to 5 and get to Sahasrara. It's definitely a risky play, but if he feels that Turtle Rock is not going to be his winning play, then I guess you have to double down.
This is a good point. The fact that Greed Pettit is here does make this a much more viable play because we are running out of locations to check other than going to Turtle Rock.
I believe we got the hint that there wasn't anything in Graveyard Ledge, so that's not an option as well. So yeah, the options are running out.
And we don't see anything that's in Turtle Rock because we unfortunately lost asazas during his trip through. He did find the big key in that chest that you see open on the left there, so you know the big key is over there. There was a small key, I believe, in the first chest he checked. We don't know anything else about Turtle Rock at this time.
At this point, it is looking likely that the progression is in there, so that would put asazas at a sizable lead.
Of course, we're hoping asazas did notice this stream went down, so he hopefully brings it back online. If he did have to restart his stream, we will not see him for 20 minutes, so it will be at least 5 minutes before we even have a hope of seeing him again on the stream at this point, I would say. And we find out what point he's at. We'll try to update the tracker once we know where he's at, and once we can try to get a look at his tracker on his stream, we'll try to get that update for you as soon as we have him back. Lanxion, meanwhile, does defeat the bug. He does get the green medallion, and I would put money. I put 100 rupees on him going to Sahasrara right now.
Yeah, I would think that's likely. I would not bet on that, or bet against that.
Or maybe not. He is going to go Turtle Rock. Oh, I would have lost
100.
I would have lost 100 rupees. Or
yeah, there you go.
Yep, I am saved today. Okay, we are going to get our 4th item from Sahasrara's hut, this time from Sahasrara himself. And as we go to talk to the old man and show him our pendant, we get a lovely heart container. Well, that's at least another heart to get into Turtle Rock, as he looks through the doorway and stares meekly and says, do I really have to do this?
Yeah, this is not a good feeling.
You could just see it from the way he reacted. He knew he had to go to Turtle Rock, and you knew he didn't want to do that.
That's the reluctance. Well, I doubled down and I tripled down, and it didn't work out. That's not good.
Sometimes that happens in gambling, and just like the gambling we know of, this kind of gambling, it can fail the same way. So he did give it a good shot getting to Sahasrara. If the item was there, if the progression was there, it would have made probably given him a good sizable chunk over at Asazas, who had not done Mothula yet at that point that we lost him. So we're finally going to get to see in a few minutes what is in Turtle Rock and items that Asazas most likely has. I'm sure he did everything he could there to get all the items he could. And probably had to beat Trinex there as well, because he does have items to beat Trinex. So I'm going to assume that Asazas did everything that Lanxion is about to do. We just don't know what happened since then.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. And I would assume that the flippers are right here. If it's the boots, then very interesting things might happen.
If it's the boots, then we're going to be looking for a cape or another sword to find out whether Aghanim might be leading to the book in order to give us more progression.
Yeah.
So Hasaralo, to answer chat, was that full heart container. So it at least will help Lanxion with his tour of Turtle Rock. Not much, but it will help. And he does get that hit about a piece of heart in the big chest in Swamp Palace. Don't bother with the big key today, in other words. A few rage slashes as he goes across the introductory platform into the palace. The learn how to use your cane on paths platform.
You can just tell how excited he is to be in this place.
Oh, he's delighted.
And in just a few moments, he will be synced up with asazas at this point.
From what we've last seen, anyway.
Uh-oh. No. No! This is bad.
You went the wrong way, and he's just going to realize he doesn't have his hook shot. Oops! Insert more rage.
Has to grab some extra magic as well. The double feels bad.
And the door closes, and he knows that he has to do that again. At least the magic's right there, so that's convenient. He's going to take the long way around this time, and we're going to get to see if for just one moment, we're going to have, for one frame, perfect sync. Look forward to this perfect sync coming up from Lanxion and asazas.
And before Lanxion does not pick up that pawn. How cruel would that be?
Sorry?
How cruel would it be if he does not pick up the pawn? Oh, he did.
Oh, he did not pick up the pawn. The flippers were in there.
I mean, really, if he's debating. Yeah. He thinks, okay, the flippers are my progression. I'm going to double down. Once again, we're not going further into Turtle Rock.
I have seen 2 or 3 items in Turtle Rock before. I would not be surprised if there is something like the boots hiding in Turtle Rock required to say, hey, you need to get this book. It would not surprise me one bit.
Yeah, Langsion's gambling like he's never gambled before. These are all very measured decisions. He decided, I don't want to do Turtle Rock. I'm going to do everything else before that. It didn't pay off. Now he's saying, okay, I still don't want to do Turtle Rock. I got my item. I know where the bow is. I only need I only need the boots and the hook shot. The flippers are going to lead me there. And we'll have to see if it pays off.
Something noted in chat I should bring up as well. Yes, the Lanxion is able to get his bow, and that's exactly where he's going right now. He's about to get that bow from Hylia Island. I don't know if asazas would have done this right away. We have no way to know because we last saw him in Turtle Rock. But there's the bow for Lanxion, and he's going to probably head over to Eastern Palace and finish that off. Might go and do the last of Palace of Darkness because now he has the bow, and now he's back in Logic.
I must admit that I didn't count the items in pod. I don't know if there's still an item in pod. I do know that Eastern doesn't have anything anymore. So we'll have to see.
It is a crystal. He does have to get the crystal either way.
Yeah. But he might wait until he might get a better sword or something, or boots in order to make Eastern quicker. I am slightly shocked that he's going into Swamp before Ice without hookshot.
I'm all
for greedy plays, but
I think he just wants to work on the easier dungeons and not have to go with the harder dungeons until he feels he has no choice. But this is a very, very risky play, as you said, because the logic is pointing now towards Ice Palace. He has Fire Rod and Bombos. He's thinking about this quite a bit. He has the flippers. He has the Titansmith to lift the rock to gain entry. He has everything he needs for Ice Palace, and he is thinking long and hard about this to figure out what he wants to do. And he does enter Swamp Palace, which he didn't flood, so he has to go back to the Light World and flood it. Well, there is a very important hint today from Swamp Palace. The boots are in Misery Mire.
Okay, well that's really good. That means that the boots are behind the hookshot.
That also means they've been available for quite some time. We still don't have our cape or our second sword. We don't know if they're in Turtle Rock. We don't know if they're also in Misery Mire as a second item. And that could very well. I keep thinking of the nightmare scenario that we have to do Aghanim to get the book. It is looking more and more real at this point.
Alt really. Well, I mean, we didn't have access to Mire. We can open Mire, but we need the hookshot in order to enter it.
Some runners are able to go through, I think, using a bonk strategy. So I think you can actually get in without the hookshot.
Yeah, but not if the boots are in Mire.
Oh yeah, there are no chests in there. That is correct. Not in the entrance, I mean.
Yeah. So that rounds up everything pretty well. It does mean that we only need the hookshot in order to be in go mode at this point. And a sword. But we'll find a sword somewhere, right?
Well, not exactly go mode quite yet, but at least it's sort of a no mode that we can skip things we know we don't need.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you speak and it comes. Hookshot, we're probably on our way to finding everything we need now.
Yeah, that'll do it. Well, what a disgusting seed this was.
I don't know if disgusting is the word that I would use. I would say put in a fire and burn type of seed. Well, I did introduce this in my spooky voice as the Halloween Spooktacular. It has lived up to the name.
I don't think there is a dumpster that deserved this seed. There is no trash can that deserved this. But what a play to enter Swamp. Okay, well. Okay, now we are officially in pretty much go mode because we know that the boots are in Mire. We got there. But I'm sure that Lanxion would really want his first sword at some point. Because 8 Hearts Master Sword is not a way you want to fight Ganon.
Okay, I just took a look into the SRL chat to see what was going on with asazas. It looks like he mentioned that there was a power outage at some point on his for him, so his power completely went out. That's why we lost his stream. That's why he's frozen. He says, unfortunately, he's going to have to quit this one, and he is forfeiting due to the power outage. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with the status of this race, whether it's going to be rerun or whether this will count. We will find out later on. That will be reported later on. Lanxion did say if it's a power outage, he does not mind having a redo. and it'll be up to the admin. So I just wanted to bring chat update as to what happened. Asazas is going to be forfeiting this race, unfortunately. Lanxion is at least going to play on, and we'll determine later whether a redo has to be done in this circumstance. But we will at least see what happens with the rest of the seed.
All right. Well, thanks for the update. That is a shame. It always feels bad to lose a race or lose a run due to external circumstances.
It does.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if we'll know what the status of the race will be around the end of the race, but if we know anything, we'll keep you guys updated.
Yeah, I'm just going to tag one of the race admins to make sure they're aware myself very quickly as we continue to see Lanxion run here, just to let him know. But either way, I think we will go ahead. We'll probably go ahead and finish the seed because, hey, we want to know where everything else was. We want to know what the seed goes down as. So I have no problem with finishing the seed, even if it doesn't count as part of the tournament, and just seeing what happens with it.
We've come this far. Might as well finish. So now our huge boots hunt begins. Great times. Finally get to go fast.
And I do see Asazas in chat, apologizing to chat. As I mentioned, don't worry about it at all, Asazas. At least you're going to get to see some of the crazy things we did here. What I'm actually curious about, and don't tell us what was there yet, Asazas, since you're in chat, did you actually finish Turtle Rock at when you were there? And again, don't tell us what's there yet. And Lanxion, meanwhile, is going through Misery Mire. He is getting to the first chest on the bridge in Mire. And now we do know that the boots are in Misery Mire, which obviously we have the hookshot, we can get in here now. Asazas is confirming in chat that where we see him frozen, he did go from there and he did finish Turtle Rock. So we are not going to speculate on what's in there yet. He knows what's in there. We don't, because Lanxion has not gone there. We will see when Lanxion eventually goes there what exactly is in Turtle Rock.
I don't think that we're going to see the rest of Turtle Rock. It is a pendant. And there's our go mode. Alright.
There's your boots. Yeah, I'm just taking a look right now, and I think you are correct. Unless he feels he needs to get the silver arrows, which would need the cape. Other than that, I think we can assume he is able to play this in go mode at this time. You are correct.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lanxion can do Master Sword Ganon, even though it's only 8 hearts. He'd rather find Tempered. I'm pretty sure I know he does not need silvers, but it's gonna take a while.
And I didn't say to Asazas to tell us what's in Turtle Rock yet. Obviously, at this point, we know there was nothing of value in Turtle Rock because Lanxion is able to go mode at this point, unless the cape was in Turtle Rock, which would allow for silver arrows, which Asazas did know where those were. But like I said, for now, we're not expecting on that. We're just going to follow Lanxion as he finishes this seed. Again, as the stats of the race, we don't know yet if it will be a redo or whether this will actually still count in some way. Asazas did have a power outage. That is why he is frozen at this time. And some bombs are in Misery Mire, which we are in. Thank you for telling us what we just picked up, game.
Amazing stuff. At least they didn't say that there was a unique item near Misery Mire, because that was true as well.
Lanxion says, yes, I do want that magic refill. I will need that. And he heads down to the dark rooms to find his way around.
It's not going to be a pretty fight against Vitreous. So the one thing worse than Fighter Sword Turtle Rock is about to happen, and that's low percent Vitreous. We have no cape, we have no burnout. Not that burnout's really going to help in this fight. Oh, we're just going to spam arrows. I appreciate this. Oh. Yeah, this fight is not laggy enough yet.
Yeah, the Vitreous fight with Silver Arrows not being able to work. Mind you, he doesn't have the Silver Arrows, but even without Silver Arrows, this fight is a lot harder. You have to fire a lot of arrows into those eyes, or if you can find your way in there using the cape or the Cane of Burner, which neither is an option at this point, even that can be harder because it takes a lot of time to slash those eyeballs with only a Master Sword. Of course, he does have the hammer option anyway, but again, he doesn't have the invincibility item, so he couldn't have done that.
Yeah, I don't feel that he wants to do the hammer strats with his low life, but he does manage to get. It only cost him all his arrows.
Yep, he gives the eye. He gives Vitreous pink eye and picks up a circular magnetic object from it. That is now his 4th crystal. He is in go mode. He can do Eastern Palace. He can do Desert Palace fully. He can do Ice Palace. The rest of the pendant dungeons, including Turtle Rock, which Asazas did complete in full, will not be required.
Yeah, we'll have to see how much he clears in order to get his tempered. If he feels
looks like he's
needs
gonna,
it.
looks like he's gonna go looking for the big key, and I bet you as soon as he finds it, he's gonna mirror right out because there are no keys needed for the back.
Yeah, that seems like
there it is. There it is. So it was also a boots required seed.
Yeah, we got this information when Lanxion dipped here the first time. Being able to do standard routing on these dungeons always feels good with the boots. Finally able to go fast. Then the Fire Rod strats on Lamo is coming up.
So Lanxion enters the Landmola's fight, and well, still one more snake to kill. Master Sword Landmola's.
Worst couple shots, but still a solid free side.
There he goes. Just a piece of heart from the snakes.
Alright, time to finish off Eastern. Then just ice battles left, really.
Yep, not too much. We are going to be able to finish those 2 dungeons fully at this time, and then we will get to play everyone's favorite game, which we are not starting until a later point in time.
Having the boots in this dungeon is the weirdest thing ever, because you're not used to that. Yeah. If you run things like NMG.
Yeah, boots in Eastern Palace is a luxury because, as you said, vanilla, it's the one dungeon that you're going to have that you can't use them at all.
Does manage to get the snipe on the Igor there. It's a little risky.
Getting bounced around by the other one. But he does get into the northern room. He does come upstairs, and he is going to go through the few trial rooms in this palace. Hidden switch behind the Igor, which it uncovers when it moves. Another one in the top left corner. And now we get to kill the red Igors with a bow in order to get to the next boss, which is the Armos Knights. Oh, 2 full magic jars on those drops. Interesting.
Oh no, it gets to cycle on the Igors.
He got stuck by the one shutting its eyes, so he stops to pick up one of the magic jars, and he gets up to the Armos Knights fight, which will probably be over in the matter of a few... Well, actually, no, there's no silver arrows, so this will still take a little while, but it shouldn't be too hard.
Yeah, wouldn't be able to use the silver arrows for this fight anyway.
Exactly.
As a hard mode.
Exactly. And it looks like the crystal has made the sprite somewhat dark, which is very interesting. But that is the 6th crystal. We are going to move next to Eastern Palace and everyone's favorite chili dungeon.
Frosty Palace.
That would have been a better name, actually. Also sounds like a hamburger joint. Now I'm hungry.
Yes, please.
And we warm up the first. Some bombs need fire in Tower of Hera. Thanks, game. I'm actually surprised Lanxion is checking the hints right now. I think he's just doing it for entertainment value at this point.
Yeah, either that or he really wants to know where First Sword is.
That is possible. He does know, I want to point out, because it was posted in the SRL channel that the racers use, or are using, that he is aware that asazas did have a power outage. So he does know he is racing alone at this point. I wonder if some of what he's doing is just to see for himself what kind of information he can pick up about the seed they might not normally look for at this point.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, yes, just go ahead.
At this point, it's just going through the motions, just clearing as fast as possible.
And it is a sportsmanship way of doing it too. Like, even though he could easily right now say, you know what, you forfeit, I'm forfeiting too. We're not gonna finish this. He is doing the sportsmanship thing, which is good to finish the seed, and it also, just in case the... Ooh, that was a nasty bomb jump. Just in case it were to turn out that the scoring does count for the seed, he at least will have the seed done and he can record the victory. It would be unfortunate if that were to be how he ends up getting a win, obviously. but at least he's doing the sportsmanship thing, finishing the seed, and also helping us see what the last times are in the seed and how the seed is finished and how well he can do. Because it is still a run for him, and when you start a seed, you want to finish the seed and get it done if you can, to see how well you do overall on the seed and add it to your list of times to see how well you're doing overall. So it's also always worthwhile to finish the seed, even if there is a situation where the race cannot be completed.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, I said that in a lot of words.
That was certainly a lot of words. But it had content. That's important. And there we go. 9th heart. It's like so much more than 8. It does mean that we are able to tank 2 hits from Colster.
What I was going to say before as well, though, is noting again that asazas forfeit due to a power outage. Just want to remind anyone who came in late, that is why you see a forfeit and a frozen screen for asazas, because he did forfeit due to the power going out. Very unfortunate circumstance to happen there.
Alright, Boss Sword Colts there. Luckily, we have Bombo, so we're able to use some... we'll be able to use some Fire Rod shots, which makes the fight a lot quicker.
And he does free the eyes from their prison. He tries to keep them in the corner. One does get away, and they are separated. This makes the fight very dangerous when they're in 3 different places. So now he's trying to get one eye down as quickly as he can, but he has to dodge all the falling ice from the sky as he does so. That does do a little bit of damage. One eye is down. The second eye is getting hammered very heavily. And the second eye is down. Third eye is getting attacked by the hammer. As he dodges more ice, the third eye goes down to a swing from a Master Sword, and he gets his burrito. He just stole Cold Star's lunch, and that gives us the 7th crystal, and that gives us everyone's favorite guessing game. For those of you watching later on YouTube or the VOD, this is something we do in the Twitch chat, the Big Key Guessing Game. Subscribers or donators of 250 bits or more are able to put their numbers in. What chest location? I kind of interrupted myself. They're able to find out what chest location the key is located at. Runners are guessing in chat as we speak, and I will ask you, Arrivor, what is your guess today?
It's going to be 14. It's just my favorite number in general, as far as I have a favorite number. And, you know, it's kind of variable where it is depending on which route people take. But in the standard route, it ends up being in the chest right before Ice Armos, which is a pretty small chest because I skip it half of the time, because I have bad muscle memory issues. How about you?
Well, a little info behind my pick, which I normally don't give because I always like to just say it's always 11 because, well, always. I always consider that to be rando room in the routing because those 4 chests in there, 11 usually ends up in that room. Even with the first 2 on the right side, it still can possibly be 11 with Dr. Bob being 12 at that point. So even if those weren't part of the count, rando room is always where 11 would end up in my route. And I always like to say it's always 11 because I believe the big key is usually in rando room.
Yeah, that makes sense. We're going to see some extra checks.
He wants that sword. He wants a tempered sword.
You can buy a new tempered sword at this point.
Yeah, he does have a lot of money. Just go to the Final Fantasy world and ask him for an upgrade.
It's almost a sword?
Yep, there's your tempered net.
Usable in Aghanim 2 only. Certain terms and conditions apply.
Delirium just thought that.
Sadly, not strong enough to slash through Ganon's hide.
And a big key guessing game is going to be closed in just a moment as Lanxion is entering Ganon's tower. So everyone, we hope you got your guesses in chat because by the time you hear this, it is probably going to be too late. As Lanxion enters Ganon's tower, and he is making the right side play today.
Alright, is there a key in first chests? No.
Well,
Okay,
there's our
hold
fire
up.
shield.
That makes it easy.
Hey, we got a boomerang. We finally got our useless banana.
Hey, boomerangs are one of my favorite items, except that they... Oh, well. In case you really want your silvers.
Well, now the cape has been found. Let's go do Egg in 1, everybody.
Yeah, we really want the book. Yeah, I'm sad that they nerfed the boomerang in hard mode.
Chest number 4 is a key. Chest number 5 is 20 rupees. We take a pause to kill some, or at least stun the skeletons here, which still does work in hard mode. In later difficulties, it will not stun the enemies. Another key. What is with all the keys in this room today? 3 keys and $20 in that room. That's all 4 Ganon's Tower keys.
No. No. Because there wasn't a key on the right side. And the 1 key extra was the one under the pot. There's still 1 key in the chest.
I think one was on the torch. He did have 4. Oh, no, did he? Oh, was it one he picked up from a pot? That's my mistake.
Yeah, because the torch was cape.
Ah, yes. I think he picked up one from a pot, and I got confused for a moment. Now, there is one thing the boomerang is useful for switch tricks.
It feels so good to do that.
And checking location number, I think it's going to be 9 at this point, because I don't think we had anything of use in the number 8 in the firebar room. So chest number 9 at this point is a heart piece.
Yeah, just a few more, and we'll actually be reaching double-digit numbers. Talking is hard.
We have a question in chat. Were the silvers on the bumper ledge? Yes, the silvers were on the bumper ledge. They now have the cape, so if they want to, which they don't, they're not, Lanxion's not going to, I don't think, he could go get those silver arrows. Going through this room, we have a key. There's the 4th key for Ganon's Tower. Powder and the big key was in what, if you did a full left play, that would be my number 11, but it was actually chest number 13 today by the big key guessing game count. That is the winner today.
I was close. I was close enough.
Yeah, well, you tied with Anywarps, if I'm saying that correctly. Error. Or was that you? Is that actually you in the chat?
That is me. That is actually
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our winner is right next to me here in the booth. So since he is the winner, I have to tell him what he won. He won a free 25% discount to the Turtle Rock Hot Springs, guaranteed hot enough that they always burn.
I always like it when my skin is torched off. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, there's the rigged in chat.
Oh, that's a good start to the fall tournament. Leaderboards. I'll take it. Uh-oh. He has to be careful. Only 2 hearts.
Yeah, running out of health at the start of the gauntlet, this is a very dangerous situation. I hope he still has some goo in the bottle that he can use for refueling on his way up if he needs to.
Yeah, otherwise he can pick up the restock room right before the gauntlet. That's
down to
provided he does not fall in the cannonball room.
He's going back to the start.
It's time for our 3rd digging game.
Welcome to Digging Outside Ganon's Castle. Something you usually do not get the pleasure of seeing, but because he knows he is by himself, I don't think he minds doing this. So please enjoy this very rare treat, Chad, as he digs for bombs and magic and lots of money that he's not going to need. Look at that 8-pack of bombs he just got. That lovely fairy, which he should pick up for the extra 2 hearts, but he's not doing it.
Good times.
Oh,
this is what we live for.
We've cleared out everything. He's still digging. We are going to find out what he's digging for.
Imagine getting everything you ever want, except for arrows.
Yeah, I guess it's the arrows he's looking for, because he only has 2 of those arrows. That is, oh, what are you going to do when you can't find... You know, I wonder in hard mode if the arrow upgrades are still located where they are in normal mode. If so, yeah, that would be a possible play.
There we go.
Oh, we got a B. Awesome.
It is possible.
It only took about 45 digs to find the arrows, but he found the arrows and he's heading back inside at this time. If you guessed 45, congratulations.
Did he also get a Hot Springs arrangement in total?
No, we don't sponsor that game.
Oh. Alright, second try. Let's go. Oh, I think he might have wanted those arrows.
Yes, Maker's Box is confirming in chat, and I think we were talking about this before the race as well, or that the upgrade shop does still exist. It is 200 rupees per upgrade on a heart. So the upgrades that were taken out back in version 28, 29, and possibly earlier, they are all back. They are all available. They just cost you a lot of money.
Not that he has a money shortage at this point, but you really don't want to mirror to like world, fly to 8, then fly back. It's a hassle.
Yeah, you only need so many arrows, and if you can get a 10-pack from the ground somewhere, that's generally all you're going to need most of the time. He is looking for more in this room, however, which I don't think this room is programmed to have any, so he doesn't find any.
Maybe Tempered Sword was under a pot.
That would be a very strange find. That skeleton just did not want to go down for Lanxion as he proceeds to the next room in the gauntlet. He uses the pot to fire one.
Sword beams are the worst thing.
Well, they're gone now. I guess that's good news?
Yeah, in a way. I mean, it would be better news if you didn't only have 10 hearts in GT. But at this point, he should really be fine.
Yeah, he should be fine at this point. And just for the people coming late again, I want to confirm why you are seeing a forfeit on Asaza's side. Yes, it is because of a power outage. His power went out at about 51 minutes into the race. As you can see, about 51 minutes and 3 seconds. It caused the stream, obviously, to go off as well. It caused him to lose progress, and it made it that it pretty much wasn't really a good race for him at that point. He felt he was not playing very well, and anyway, and didn't want to continue with that race, trying to regain his ground. What this means as well is because of the 20-minute delay, he probably had another 20 minutes of the race completed, and we don't even know where we ended up when the power went out. So we couldn't possibly even see where he finished because we lost that 20 minutes of footage.
I believe he said in chat that he was in Ice Palace at the time the power outage happened.
I did not notice that in chat. So yeah, Ice Palace, it seemed logically like the like a good play, but obviously it was part of the Go Mode series, so we know there was not progress in there. We can probably assume. We're going to talk to him after the race, after Lanxion finishes, and we're going to find out just where he ended up and where his progression was when he lost his power.
Probably going to see the last few chests open here as well. Oh, that's not a bad find. So, aside from the initial death...
Oh, the extra heart. Extra heart, that's useful at this point.
Yeah, for sure. The actual GT climb has been really good for Lanxion. Aside from the first death and the digging, it's been really smooth sailing.
Moldorm 2 goes down. Will Lanxion open Moldorm's possession? across the hookshot gap. He gets out the hookshot to look. He does open it, and Moldor, he just took Moldorm's lunch. That was there for him later. I guess since he's dead, he doesn't really need it now, so we'll just enjoy it on his behalf.
Yeah, sadly, no tempered. Again, he probably doesn't need it, but it would have just been nice.
So we enter the geometry fight, and not really a triangle, more of a straight line. This could be a triple.
Yeah,
that is a triple. That's a very nice triple, and we have a very awkward setup for another go here. He does get 2 shots, gets hit by the 3rd. We should finish off the fight right here. Still not a triple, but a very good Aghanim 2 fight from Lanxion. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Big Pig.
Yeah, really solid execution overall.
And Lanxion drops down to start the Ganon fight. Let's see what Ganon wants to tell us today. Did you know the biggest and heaviest cheese ever produced weighed so many pounds and was so long? Thank you, Ganon. We love cheese facts. I really want to see some bacon facts, though.
Sliced bacon. It's the best.
That's a very good bacon fact. So we're still on phase 1 of the Ganon fight. He's doing spin slashes with the Master Sword. You'll know when he enters phase 2 because, well, not yet. You'll know he enters phase 2 because he starts spewing fire circles that turn into bats, like right now. So we are now in phase 2 of the Ganon fight. And when we get enough hits in on this phase of Ganon, he will start teleporting around, possibly in more succession, try to send out single fire bats, and that's the point at which he will, upon being hit, start shaking the tiles loose.
Yeah, it's 12 spins per phase, then 4 hits in the 3rd phase. And then for phase 4, which is kind of interesting without silver arrows, we're going to have to do 24 spins on Ganon's phase.
Ouch.
Ooh.
Now, because the cape was in Ganon's tower, he did have the option to pick them up. I don't think he even saw that they were bumper ledge, so even if he wanted them, he doesn't know they're there.
Yeah, that's for sure. He has no... Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Alright, time to shake it off, and so far all his second tries have been successful, so...
Take 2, begin! More cheese facts.
Has anyone ever told you that Master Ganon is really the worst thing ever? Because it is.
Yeah, it's a very difficult fight. It's not fun at all having to try and prep spin slashes repeatedly. It's so easy to get hit and end up going, oh, that's a great position for phase 2. That is a great location for the fire bats right now. But yeah, it's not fun at all having to line up all those spin slashes while trying to avoid all of the stuff coming at you. And very, very dangerous fight, especially when you have a 14 heart maximum, in this case 11 hearts. You're running on 1 heart. You may not have potions or fairies, which I don't think fairies work as well anyway, in hard mode. So very, very dangerous fight.
How did he just dodge that?
Wow.
Okay.
The hookshot dodge strats.
Okay, we made it to phase 3.
Progress.
Oh no! No!
Oh, that hit him. Oh man. And begin. Take 3.
Is that enough?
Well, actually not yet. He's mirroring and getting some potion, I believe. Looks like he bonked and is trying it again and is going to kill the guards just for sport. There's those arrows he needed earlier.
Yeah, this makes sense. Just get some potions, whatever.
So he's loaded up with some no-name fruit beverage, and he's going to go and take another shot at the pig.
And especially if you don't have the stress of opponents of seeing that done super soon, then just getting potions is the safe bet. Makes sense. Alright. Let's go. Take free. Made it to phase 2, so from here on out it starts getting a little dicey, but he has enough potions to work with. He should be okay.
Yeah, with those 3 potions, I think I saw him, heard him get 3 potions there. That will definitely give him some help in the back pocket in case he does run down to 1 heart. Instead of chancing things, he can just chug 1 and continue from there. Interestingly, I don't think he's used 1 yet, but he is still in phase 2, so there is still a lot of the fight left.
Yeah, just use 1 there. Makes sense.
It
was an interesting hit. Didn't look like he should have gotten hit, but with Ganon,
hitboxes.
You never know. Yeah.
Hitboxes, yeah, they're nasty sometimes.
Especially if you're using different sprites, sometimes it doesn't always align with what you think it is.
Still on phase 2. He's still getting the spins there.
Yeah, it's really hard to get more than 2 or 3 hits in per cycle.
This is why runners will still often look for the Tempered Sword, because Master Sword Ganon is a nasty fight. As you can see, Lanxion is having some difficulty with it. Already died twice. Already chugged some potion in this go. Very, very hard fight. Very difficult to... Yep, down to 3 hearts. He's going to use the second potion.
Yeah, but he's in phase 3 now. So from here on out, it should be relatively smooth sailing. Phase 4 is going to take a while, but...
A long while, yeah.
It's practically the same as it is with Tempered Sword. It just takes twice as long.
The only thing is that he needs to try and get the torch glitch. That's the concern that we have right now, that he gets the torch glitch. So that way, that would actually have the magic that he has to use in keeping those torches lit. And there's a clue for the arrows of the Dark World. He's not lined up for it, but he's going to go for the torch glitch.
He got it. Okay. So now it's just an endurance test.
And this is obviously much easier with the silver arrows. Normally with the silver arrows, you can get that spin, and he turns, well, silver, basically telling you get your silver out, and you can just fire 4 arrows into him, and that takes him out. That will still work in hard mode, but he does not have the silver arrows. They're located behind the cape access from Ganon's Tower on Bumper Ledge. We know that because the asazas saw them. Lanxion does not know that, and we don't know if he would have actually gotten them. So let's see how he continues on this Ganon fight. I'm not counting the hits. I want to say that's about somewhere from 8 to 10 right now that he has. Might be more.
Something like that. At some point, you'll just see him explode, and you know it's good. It really just keeps on going for a while.
Well, he got 4 more since I made that estimation, so we are getting to about the final 10 hits or so, I think. Actually, we might be down to the final 4 hits or so.
I think that's a little optimistic.
There was 3.
He's not getting the nicest Ganon patterns either. He usually sticks to the right side here. That's kind of a shame. But here he got a nice triple. That's very good.
And he should be down the last hit or 2 right now, I think. If we did the math correctly. Nope, still a little more. Well,
there it is.
There it is. We have an exploding ham, and we have our bacon as the Master Sword is held in the air. Lanxion is going to cross the bridge and finish this absolutely nasty seed. This was spectacular. This was definitely worthy of a Halloween seed, to say the least. So let's get the official time for Lanxion. Lanxion does finish with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 0 minutes, and 35 seconds. Asazas, of course, did forfeit earlier because of the power outage. Let's get them both in here if we can to chat about it.
Yeah, hard mode definitely showed up this seed. Sometimes you have seeds where you don't feel it makes much of a difference, but here the lack of early health definitely showed up. I mean, getting only Master Sword is not like it's not because of hard mode, but it just all added up. So it was a rough time. Lanxion did have some hiccups, but he did manage to clutch it out with a solid last fight. So good GGs to him.
And you did note, as you said, hard mode did rear its head this seed. We don't know where those other 2 swords were located. And we know there are 4 in the pool. You only get to pick up 3 of them. The last one basically vaporizes once you get the other 3. But we don't know where 2 of the swords were located. There could have been one in Turtle Rock, which Asazas can tell us about later if that's the case. He may have also seen one more that we don't know about. But let's get them both in here. I do see them in the setup channel. Asazas and Lanxion, welcome to both of you. That was definitely a seed worthy of a Halloween seed today.
Probably, yeah. GG and Lanxion.
Yeah, GG. I guess whatever happened in that seed was. Oh boy, that was the thing.
Now, one thing we want to get procedurally out of the way here. I did notice in the SRL chat when I went to see what happened to Asazas about. Half an hour after he disappeared, I went to see what happened. I noticed he was talking about getting a power outage. There is a question related to the discussion there. You said you would be okay with the re-race. I want to confirm officially here before we go any further. Are you okay with doing a re-race of the seed, or are we going to count this one?
I said I would be fine with a re-race. But it's like I said, I'm not sure how the whole thing works. So, if that's allowed, I'm sure that if Asazas is fine with it, I'm down with it. Whatever needs to happen.
Asazas?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be a little bit unfair for Lanxion. Like, I don't know.
We'll leave that there. We'll leave that there because I get where you're going with that. I will go ahead and confirm procedurally that I did talk to Sabotender briefly, one of the tournament admins, and I just let him know what was happening in the SRL chat, and he wanted me to confirm with Lanxion before we officially announced it, but because Lanxion said he's okay with it, I can officially announce that this seed will be re-raced as a new seed, and we will be generating this as a new seed and getting this raced in again. So we will have another opportunity to get this race done fairly from a no-score situation. This will not count. But
okay.
I'm glad that we did finish that seed as just a purpose for the purpose of the chat.
Oh, well, someone should have told me. That was garbage. Good Lord.
Well, we want to see how that seed finished out anyway, so we weren't complaining about that. I found out a little bit later myself, like I said. But by that point, you were already doing very well in the seed. And it was a fun seed to watch. It obviously had to be painful to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
Well, see, I'd like to tell you all that if you ever find yourself in the situation that I was in, when you're walking into Turtle Rock and you're clearing things and you find flippers and then you immediately leave, don't do that. That was a really, really, really dumb play. I knew what was on the left side of Swamp. I was going to check 2 chests. That was a terrible idea. The fact that I found Hookshot is unbelievable. There's no reason for that. Don't follow my plays. That was garbage. Don't do it.
One thing I do want to find out from, because we did see how Lanxion finished. We had no problems with the stream for Lanxion at all, so we saw everything that happened there. Asazas froze just if you were to see the restream later, Lanxion, you might have even looked already. He froze as he was in Turtle Rock after he got the big key out of the first chest beyond the 4 torch room. And right before picking up the flippers, he had just picked up the pot in between and he froze. So he would have gotten the flippers right there himself. We were talking to him in chat just a little bit. I think I spoke to him once on air, and I was chatting in chat with him, and chat was talking with him to see what he did. He did do all of Turtle Rock. There's a question I want to ask you because we did not see any of the other sword upgrades, asazas. Was there another sword in Turtle Rock?
Not in Turtle Rock, but I did find another sword in the like 20 minutes that were not seen on stream.
Do you know where that sword was?
Yeah, it was Magic Bat. So yeah, after clearing Turtle Rock, I went and so this was the sequence, okay? So I cleared Turtle Rock. I did not kill Trinex because I hidden if it had a map or a compass or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, the most valuable thing I found there was the red boomerang. So yeah, not too worthy.
The red boomerang?
Yeah, in the big chest. Yeah, it was
in the big chest of Turtle Rocks. Okay, yeah. So you're saying beyond the flippers. Okay.
All right, so then I picked up the bow and went to finish Eastern and went into pod, got the flute, and when I went activated the flute and did I was just there, so did Smith's purple test and a fake powder for the bat, and that's where I got the master shot at the time. After that, I just went and entered Ice Palace, and that's when everything went to hell. So
now I don't remember all the item locations, but I do know that Lanxion did get to do both of the East. I think he did Eastern Palace, and I think he did 4 dungeons actually in Go mode. Ice Palace was one of the 4 dungeons he did in Go mode. So there was no progression in Ice Palace. I don't think the chest we did see, there were any swords either in there, unless I missed one.
Well, yeah, the irony is that I'm pretty sure that the last, I'm not sure where the 4th sword was, but the 3rd sword was there. So I mean, and the 3rd sword is technically locked in progression behind Powder, which was in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, the Powder was in Ganon's Tower. It was actually right north of the big key. The big key game came to key number 13.
Yeah, so Silver's must have been on the bumper ledge, because that's probably the last location in the Dark World. So that's also locked behind Ganon's Tower because the cape was in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah,
exactly. We can confirm they were on bumper ledge. Asazas did walk by and did see them.
That makes sense.
So he does know they were there.
Oh, that was awful. Please don't ever follow my Ganon fight ever. That was awful.
If you had known about either. Yeah, I mean, if you had known about a sword, you would probably have picked it up. But if you had known about the silvers, would you have picked them up? Because I assume that you were more comfortable with phase 4 than with phase 1 and 2.
I am usually a lot better at that fight. That's the dying twice is an anomaly to me, and I usually don't. If I had gone through the first fight, gotten all the way to the phase where he told me where they were, and died, I would have gone back and got them. But that fact that I didn't know, I just kind of grabbed pots and went with it, because I don't know if it was nerves or what, but I usually don't have a problem. And once I settled into the phase 3, phase 4 of the fight, it was much smoother, but I don't know, I was kind of screwing that up, because usually I was getting minimal spins on the first couple phases, which is like not great. That's hard.
Master Ganon just is no fun. I can't blame you for that.
No. I need to practice it more. More low percent is what we need in this world.
Yeah, yeah, but it's weird because I mean, the Master Sword really isn't because of the modes that you pick, because hard doesn't impact the amount of swords that you find.
No,
it just removes the last one.
Right.
So it was just like hard mode just amplified all the issues that were already in the seed.
Yeah, listen. I think that I don't know how other people handle it. I think that I found the mirror at the most efficient time to find mirror. But if Agana has an item, just add 15 minutes to everyone's seed, because it's just like no one checks it unless you get the flute or are clearing out Desert Palace. Like it just, I don't know. It's so out of the way. It makes me so mad.
Yeah, I didn't get the mirror in like forever in this seed.
Yeah, same.
And the other thing that was scaring us as well was the fact that the book was on Lumberjack Ledge. So whenever you see something like that, it's Okay, so Aghanim is required.
It's in my head. As soon as I saw that, I was like, you know what? If that book is required, then this is going to be a long seed. Because I don't think I'm going to do it. I don't think Asazas was going to do it either. I think we were going to leave it to the absolute last because it's just like a 15-minute commitment to go and get that book.
And by the time I think Lanxion did find the hint that boots were in Misery Mire, as soon as we saw that, it was like, okay, off to the swamp. And we basically found the boots in there, and we found, I think, I'm not sure what the go mode item was. Offhand, boots. I forget. I know the hook shot. Oh, boots were the go mode items. So by the time you actually got the boots, at that point, you had everything you needed anyway. And it was like, well, we're not going to need the book today.
Yeah, once I found the hook shot, I knew I was all set. But again, that hook shot gamble was garbage. Don't ever do that. My goodness.
Found the sword in the back of Swamp as well. That did help.
Yeah, I guess, that was like one of the things that I really needed. But I would have done a more thorough check after Mire, probably after Ganon's Tower if I hadn't found a sword. But
yeah. This was your first race of the 3, wasn't it?
Our first race, yes.
This was their first race. As we know, though, I did get the discussion with the admins figured out, and they are going to be getting a re-race on this, as was suggested, for the sake of fairness for scoring. We are going to do. I think it's going to be the same seed type. I'm just guessing. I think it's probably going to be the same type of seed.
I would prefer that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was your choice, Lanxion, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Are you regretting it already?
Well, I got a really trolly all dungeons hard mode seed prior to this that really tripped me up, and then I was like, you know what, we're gonna make it even simpler, and then this happened. So I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I don't know if I'm still like ask for easy mode or what, but this is I guess this is what we're gonna have to do. I like this mode. It's the closest to my comfort zone, which is Denim G, so I'd like to keep it that way. But
yep. I think through tournament rules, because we are doing a re-race, you get to keep the mode selection. If this, like I think you said, Lanxion, this was your pick. So we're going. I'm not a tournament admin. I can't speak as a tournament admin, but I believe it would stay in your seed choice. I think it would stay as this because we already had this confirmed.
The same race, yeah, it's the same race
exactly.
That we pick. So, but I mean, we'll both reach out to someone, figure something. But yeah,
definitely
16 races.
So with that said, were there any other thoughts that you guys had? And I know, Asas, you didn't finish the whole seed, but were there any other thoughts either of you had on the seed today?
Not much. Just thank you guys for calming, and I appreciate everyone for watching me struggle through the final part of that seed, and hopefully the next seed will be better. But thank you very much for restreaming. We appreciate it.
Yeah, really, thanks for the restream. And again, I apologize to everyone for this problem, especially to Lanxion, if we have to repeat this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you now. I probably will. I'll take the win if it happens again. We'll give the mulligan. There's nothing you could do about it. It's like it just seems like if it happened to me, I would hope that someone would do the same. So.
I mean, I really, really hope it doesn't happen again, because
good luck.
It's not the first time. But yeah, it's been kind of weird lately over here.
But we'll chat off stream. All right, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna get out of here, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing the re-race when it does happen. Good luck to both of you in all 3 of your games. Now that we're gonna have 3 games from you again, good luck in those. I want to touch on the speed gaming schedule just a little bit very quickly, and also the tournament schedule at the same time. We do have a couple other races going on the Speed Gaming Network tonight in this tournament. We have, and I'm just going to read as we go here, we have an inverted seed, so defeat Ganon inverted mode. Now, if you thought this seed was hard, oh boy, you've seen nothing yet. It is an inverted mode seed where you start in the dark world, and you have to make your way to the light world to eventually finish the game. It is an Uncle Assured seed, so they will have a sword from the Uncle when they finally get there. And it is normal difficulty. That is on Speed Gaming 5 at 9:20 p.m. And then later at 11:30 p.m., we're going to have a standard all dungeons, another case of an Uncle Assured item. I never put the runners in either one. I apologize. 9:20 is Dante versus ZZZ Cube. And that second one, the all dungeons Uncle Assured, which is also a key sanity, is between Kyong and Chex Human. That's on Speed Gaming main channel at 11:30 p.m. this evening. So don't go anywhere. We have more Link to the Past randomizer for you tonight. And I actually, Sabotander, one of the tournament admins, is commentating that race on Speed Gaming 5 at 9:20 p.m. So definitely go check that out. Looking ahead at the Speed Gaming schedule, I do spy that there is a Super Mario Brothers 3 weekly race going on. That is a randomizer that, just like these, that randomizes all the worlds. I have seen it, very interesting. There's also some Final Fantasy randomizer going on a couple of channels this evening as well. One of those is Speed Gaming 3, also at 9 p.m. So you have a lot of options for things to watch tonight. The next Link to the Past race, as I said, though, is in 40 minutes, and that is on Speed Gaming 5. So definitely keep your eye out for that. Raro, nice to commentate with you today. Do you have any other thoughts regarding the seed today?
Regarding the seed, oh, please more. Just these are the seeds we all love to watch. Otherwise, thank you so much for commentating with me. And well, I mean, if you just listen to the schedule, you need to buy another 3 monitors to catch up with everything. So there's so much rando to come, so much enjoyment to be had, and I hope to see you guys all again.
And we look forward to having everyone on the Speed Gaming Network tonight for these or any other events that are still going on in the schedule tonight. I know there's some Zelda 1 randomizer later that I'm commentating as well. So lots of options to watch tonight. We love having everyone here on Speed Gaming watching these races and there to chat with us and help correct us in chat as well when we make mistakes. Very nice to have that backup in case we say something wrong so we can fix it. So with that said, I just want to thank everyone again for tuning in today to our, what I guess now is no longer the first race in the series, but literally was a Halloween spectacular in this hard mode seed. It lived up to its billing. We hope you all enjoyed it, and we look forward to seeing you for other events and other races tonight. Take care, everyone. Rara, you get the final word.
Ooh. Yeah, don't get ghosty roasted, guys.